we have a brand new drama-filled, action-packed battle royale between some of the world's most wealthy companies and people. The first fight is between our boy Elon Musk and also Tim Cook. Basically, Twitter versus Apple. Here is everything you need to know in the billionaire battle. This was breaking a little bit. This set the scene. This broke a little bit earlier today. The Twitter files on free speech suppression soon to be published on Twitter itself. The public deserves to know what really happened. Now, this would be the point where you get the record scratch of you're probably wondering how we got here. And this is a pretty bold thing for the world's richest man to say, the guy who now owns and operates Twitter. And by the way, it's going with the employees. He might be the last guy actually working there. But anyway, this is very much the record scratch of what in the world happened here while I was gone to get to this exact point. And that leads us to some breaking news as of this morning. Elon Musk is going to war with Apple, taking aim at its app store fees and claiming it's against free speech. That's a pretty bold headline. He tweeted this earlier on today. Apple has also threatened to withhold Twitter from its app store, but won't tell us why. So that's kind of the thing that started with it. And then Twitter and the internet rightfully just completely blew up. It's like, what is this about? What's going on with Apple? And everyone started digging into the history of Apple, accusing them against being against free speech. And then obviously a lot of the discussion centered around what's going on with the App Store. A lot of people saying they would get rid of all of their Apple products, which we'll see how that plays out. But also more of really came into focus of basically the 30% fee that Apple has on the entire internet. If you don't know what that means, just hold tight for 1 second. Elon Musk claims Apple has threatened to remove the Twitter app. Twitter owner Elon Musk claimed on Monday in a series of tweets that Apple had threatened to remove the Twitter app from the App Store as part of its app review moderation process. Obviously, I don't need to explain this to you. This would be a massively big deal, and it brought out our most favorited, spiteful parts of Elon's personality. So if you purchase anything on the App Store, just so you know, Apple keeps 30% of it. And this has even gotten them into fights with Facebook, I believe Epic Games. It's become very serious legal battles of do they have the right to basically have a 30% tax on the internet. Did you know Apple puts a secret 30% tax on everything you buy through their App Store? I don't quite know if it's secret. It's kind of well known. There's been court cases about it, but maybe if this is the first time you're hearing about it, this is very much the equivalent of when the gloves come off in a billionaire fight. And it is wild, wild, wild. Now, at first, this might seem a little bit benign, and maybe I'm off on this particular opinion, but this is getting pretty crazy into the world of Twitter is one of the world's main public digital forums. And if Apple were to follow through on this, and right now, they definitely have some pie in their face type of a scenario, if they were to follow through on it, I mean, there's hundreds of millions of iPhones in use right now. If those people don't have Twitter, the whole situation is just getting crazy. And I guess maybe the cynical part of me is really legitimately starting to wonder, has Elon, with all of his recent antics, pissed off so many of the powers to be, or just the actual powers, that they're now trying to fight him? The whole thing is just nuts. Right here and right away, you get memes. Pay 30%, go to war, Elon. And he was loving this tweet. And now it's to the point that even the White House is chiming in on Elon, Twitter, and his antics. And I think this is a very interesting listen for all of us.
This is a critical moment, really, in terms of ensuring that Twitter does not become a vector for misinformation. I mean, are you concerned about Elon Musk says there's more and more subscribers coming online. Are you concerned about that? And what tools do you have? Who is it at the White House that is really keeping track of this?
Let's even first appreciate that question. She cited that Elon said there's more people coming online, particularly on his platform. Are you concerned? That was a question that was asked to the White House. Hey, are you should they be able to speak, freely? Is that something we're really about here in the United States?
So look, this is something that we're certainly keeping an eye on, and
So scary.
Look,
Wildly scary.
we have always been very clear, and that when it comes to social media platforms, it is their responsibility to make sure that when it comes to misinformation, when we comes to the hate that we're seeing, that they take action, that they continue to take action. Again, we're all keeping a close eye on this. We're all monitoring what's currently occurring, and we see it with our own eyes of what you all are reporting, and just for ourselves what's happening on Twitter. But again, social media companies have a responsibility to prevent their platforms from being used by any user to incite violence, especially violence directed at individual communities, as we have been seeing, and the president has been very clear.
She's just spinning this in the most awkward way. Like, this has nothing to do with the actual question. And as I've said many times before, I think she has the most difficult job in the world trying to spin what the president does or doesn't say. But a couple thoughts on all of that. First of all, do I want to see billionaires battle it out on the public forum? Without a doubt. I think it's just enjoyable. Call me crazy, but I do. But in terms of like what's good for the fabric of society, I kind of hope that this gets squashed very, very quickly. Like I very much do. And all of a sudden, especially in light of what we're recently seeing out of China, it really is being highlighted right now how important it is for the population to be able to converse with each other, to be able to talk, to be able to cross-pollinate ideas. Now, granted, if you listen to that 90 seconds of a response, it was a lot of saying words that have nothing. It was like kind of large, vague statements that in reality are grounded in like basically fuck all. Am I thinking about this a little bit too much? Am I being a little bit too pessimistic? Or am I reading the whole situation wrong? Truly, I would love to get your thoughts. Let me know in a comment. What side are you on? Do you think Apple's wrong here? Do you think Tim's wrong here? Do you think Elon's wrong here? Do you think Twitter's wrong here? I mean, at first, is this just spiteful? Because the amount of times that Twitter's fact-checking system has called out the White House Twitter account is hilarious. So obviously they have a bone to pick. And I think there's just so many interpersonal things going on that maybe my head isn't fully wrapped around it. And like I said, it still comes back to I want this to be squashed as quickly as possible. But I would love to get your overall thoughts. So please let me know.